Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, November 27th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol ZENA, big mover today, and now we have a nice little consolidation, and with this consolidation, it's given us a pretty well-defined breakout point. So as I map this level out, please don't think that this is some sort of great discovery or I'm trying to impress you with some sort of great skill. The exact opposite, actually. A lot of people are watching 1060, and I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there is no such thing as a guarantee in the market, is it plausible, is it reasonable to think that if the price comes up here and pushes through that level, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible scenario. So 1060 definitely going to be an interesting level to watch on Wednesday. And then in regards to levels of support, get this little trend line in play right there. Change that to green to represent support. And you can see ultimately we basically have this little miniature wedge pattern here. Maybe you'd want to call it an ascending triangle pattern. But the point here being is the psychology. And the psychology is that sure, the price is struggling at that level. But while this struggle is going on, the price is creeping higher and higher and higher. So does this creeping higher and higher, is that serving as a leading indicator that there is a bigger move to come? We'll see what happens on Wednesday. Next one here, MSTZ. This will mean a little bit more to those of you that have been watching the past videos, but if you have, you know that we've been mapping out and walking through a couple of these levels. And the key dynamic headed into today was all about that resistance line right there. And you can see it wasn't totally clean as there was kind of a lot of sloppiness back and forth. But once it did finally start to get going from there, you can see it really got its momentum behind it. So nice solid breakout there. And, although it wasn't the cleanest at first, there were still never any sort of totally crazy movements where I would hope for people weathered the storm and didn't get totally shook out of their position. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these lines here as they serve their purpose for now. And we'll focus on some of the newest levels. So the first key level is what I would call the ideal level. I mean, if we're asked Clay, what would make this chart look the best and strongest moving forward? That would be if the price could stay up here above that breakout point at $1.18. Now, with that being said, if the price falls below there, doesn't mean the chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that. But if the price could stay above there, that would be fantastic. But from the overarching standpoint, that's where the purple line here comes into play, the 50-period moving average. Keyword there being moving, because I understand the price is way up here. This line's way down here, but as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So it's basically like a trend line that's going to draw itself for you. In fact, I like to call moving averages trend lines for lazy people, because if you don't feel like drawing a trend line, this trend line, like I said, will draw itself for you. So in other words, as long as the price stays above that line, as the line moves higher and higher, then the overall trend is still plenty in the bull's favor. In terms of levels of resistance, no need to overcomplicate this. Just ask the question, where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at $1.36. So $1.36 will be the main battleground here headed into Wednesday. But all in all, very nice looking chart, and higher highs and higher lows is the name of the game. Next one, SMCI, and again, this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video, but if you did, that was that ideal level of support that I just talked about in the previous chart, meaning, moving forward, if the price was able to stay above that level, that would have been very, very impressive. So the fact that it broke below it, sure, not the thing that you necessarily want to see, but by no means the end of the world. But then I also talked about this level down here, the purple line, which again, I just talked about on the previous chart, that being more so kind of the important overall level. And you can see right now, as I speak, the price is essentially bouncing. It didn't hit it exactly, but got very close and is currently kind of bouncing and doing battle with that level. So moving forward, at least in my opinion, that's going to be the big question mark. Is the price going to be able to hold above that level? If it doesn't, then the next key level to watch closely from a support standpoint, again, let me change that to green for support, would be down here right around the $31.75 mark. So keep an eye on that, as there are no guarantees, as I mentioned, but I don't, especially if it's a higher volume break of that level, I don't think it would be shocking at all to see the price drift down there and at least retest that level. And does it bounce from there or not? That's another question. But you also don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, because as of right now, the price is respecting that level right there. So all in all, not the greatest day today, but from the bigger picture point of view, still plenty of opportunity to build a higher base. So we'll see if the bulls can get that job done or not. Next one here, ticker symbol IMG, and a whole lot of movement on this one. Not even necessarily, well, I take that back. This morning, there was a bit of a gap up. That opening 30 minutes was solid. But compared to what happened this afternoon, I mean, just massive volume, very nice price movement. So let's map out a couple of key technical levels here moving forward. But really, in some ways, I don't even need to map anything out because it's already got the big ingredients there. It's got huge volume and it's got good volatility. But we'll map out some levels nonetheless. So as far as resistance levels, no need to overcomplicate this. The party seems to have stopped right up there around the $1.91 mark. You can see right there, didn't hit it, but directly hit it. So right around here, there are apparently where sellers decided to step up. So keep an eye on $1.91 moving forward as a main area of resistance. And then in terms of levels of support, the level that stands out to me is right down here. Let's see, what is that? The $1.20 mark. You can see right here that you had a bounce from it there and a bounce from it right there. Now, preferably speaking, if the price could stay up above there, that would be great. But as long as it stays above $1.20 in my mind, then everything's fine, and it would still be considered just a perfectly fine of a consolidation. Because even if the price came down here and was, then down around there, from a bigger picture standpoint, that would imply that, yeah, there's a pullback here, but you'd also have this big move up right here, which would still be giving you a bull flag pattern. So like I said, if there is more of a pullback, not necessarily the end of the world by any means. Next one here, NVDA. I'm going to go through this one relatively quickly because there's not a whole lot to talk about, and especially if you watch yesterday's video, not really anything to update because in yesterday's video, we talked about a couple of key technical levels, the resistance right up here, that red line at the 138 mark, and then the support down there at the green line of 134.50. And you can see that, other than the first 30 minutes, which just had the false, nasty little fake breakout of the channel, the price went right back down, and then pretty tight little range, not a whole lot of movement, which does make sense as we get closer to Thanksgiving. I don't expect any sort of, huge movements, but probably famous last words, NVIDIA will probably be at $300 tomorrow. But like I said, I don't think anybody's necessarily shocked to see it in this tight little range here. But that's really all that where things stand. Nothing has really changed. You still have this sideways channel. So key level of resistance moving forward, 138. Key level of support moving forward, 134.50. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here in a couple of weeks. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one, ticker symbol IDAI for you penny stock traders out there, and we have what I find to be an interesting little pattern here. Let me adjust that. There we go. Bring that up a tad bit. So there's a support part of this little pullback thing, this pullback pattern. I'm going to give that a little bit more of a gracious, there we go, downwards angle. So what we have here is a falling wedge pattern within an overall bullish context because this is occurring within a gap up. So yes, I realize that if you're some sort of day trader and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 2 minutes, yeah, from that angle, the chart's looking like a disaster. But if you do care about the bigger picture point of view, then what we essentially have here is this falling wedge pattern. So moving forward, it's just really a question of can the price, because it's knocking on the door right now, but can it get enough strength to push up through there? And if you think so, then I would definitely keep this one on your watch list, especially if you like penny stocks. Next one, TSLA, Tesla. And yeah, today, not the greatest of days, because it did fall down below that trend line there, which had been doing a very good job of holding strong. But as I mentioned previously, just because this, I think that was on NVIDIA. No, it was not on NVIDIA. I think SMCI. Just because this trend line here, which was more the ideal level, is broken, doesn't mean that everything's destroyed. So don't go down that rabbit hole. But from a bigger picture standpoint, all eyes now turn their attention to that pink line right there, the 200 period moving average. Now, if the price goes to that level and pushes down below it, at that point is still the overall chart totally destroyed. It's not, but that would start to serve as a bit of a red flag of, okay, something is changing. The strength seems to really be disappearing in a bigger type of way, but nothing goes straight up. So yes, I get it. Day traders that bought right there, the chart is a train wreck for you because of this big old pullback here. But from a big standpoint, I mean, in some cases, this is a multi-week argument that I'm making, but you have this pullback here. If the price was there, and has the price still gone all the way up there? So you could call this, like I said, a multi-week bull flag pattern if you really wanted to. So it's all about perspective though. Yes, very near term, things are looking rough. Yes, it's pulling back, but from a bigger standpoint, with the price still nicely above that 200 period moving average, still plenty of bullish things going on also. Next one here, MARA, and in my mind at this point, there's really kind of two key technical levels that matter a whole lot. And the first one here, and this all goes back to what I think a lot of other people are watching and drawing. So not trying to impress you. This is all about trying to identify potential self-fulfilling prophecies. So you got to think a lot of people have drawn that trend line right there. So if the price were to, curl back upwards and get to that level and push up through it, more than reasonable to think that that break right there could lead to additional buying pressure. But then the other level that I think a lot of people are watching now is that trend line right there, which has been doing a very good job of forecasting, areas where the price has found some support. So keep an eye on that. And then once again, it's all about perspective. If you're looking at a multi-day, multi-week pattern, then, so there's our resistance, there's our support. The price was down there and now it's exploded all up here. You just have a multi-day bull pennant pattern in this situation. But like I said, this is why my job is always a little tricky from a presentation standpoint, because I realize there could be day traders out there that are buying right there, and thinking, how can you call this thing bullish at all? Again, that's why I'm trying to distinguish between nearer term and then bigger picture points of view. So yeah, past couple days have been rough, but with that being said, I think these are two key technical levels that lots of people will be watching, so maybe you can get some self-fulfilling prophecies. Next one here, VSEE, and there's no doubt about it, this one's a pretty ugly looking chart, but for you longer time viewers, you know what I'll say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly, and in this situation, it's essentially just a pullback play. If you like to play pullbacks and try to find those areas where when everybody else is giving up hope, that's where things tend to bounce, and I would say we have a relatively clear area of where that could potentially happen, and that is this former breakout area right down here around $1.81. So you can see right here, this was former resistance, and then this is just based on a foundational rule that when levels of resistance are broken, they tend to act as support. That's actually already played out right there. You can see it bounced right off that level. And what else makes it interesting is the price is also getting near that purple line, which again will move itself higher and higher. So you could have a double whammy of support down around here. If it were to come down here, is it logical to think it could, level out and then get somewhat of a bounce? Yeah, that's totally logical, but no guarantees, especially on situations like this. You are in some senses trying to catch a falling knife, so you better be a disciplined trader. You better be able to cut the loss if need be, because you don't want to find yourself holding this thing if it's down in the penny range. But if you are a good disciplined trader, then yeah, you could certainly structure yourself a nice little risk reward scenario. Next one here, TOYO, very nice looking pattern here, and once more, no special talents here. Got to think a lot of people have drawn this pattern. So there is the support part of the pattern. Here is the resistance part of it right there. And in fact, let's see, market closed in 2 minutes. So I probably not going to push up to that level, but you can see last 30 minutes here has been very, very solid, and it's continuing to try to creep up to that level. And then just to map out the overall pattern here, we have our support, we have our resistance, we have the big move right there. For you golfers out there, try to make it more visual, put the golf flow down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So just to reiterate, as I've said a million times, no guarantees, but certainly plausible to think that if the price were to come up here and push up through that level, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure. So if you like this price range, you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, then definitely go get signed up for the free live class. Like I said, it'll be a week and a half or so on Thursday, December 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. And also, if you enjoy these top 10 videos and you just want to support the channel in a super easy way, please hit that subscribe button. It really goes a long way, really helps out with the channel. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I am now on the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 4 hours and not 30 minutes. And that is because Bitcoin is open 24/7. So in order for this video and analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, like I said, I like to just do longer time frames and then walk you through some questions in order to keep this relevant for as long as possible. So if you did watch yesterday's video, you know the big question was what was going to happen in regards to that trend line right there. And we got our answer. The bears ended up winning. Actually tried to bounce back upwards, but a classic example of this support then turning into resistance right there as it got rejected right off that level. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that as it served its purpose. And really, we'll just use that purple line there now as our first key area of resistance. So question number one you're going to want to ask yourself is, where is the price at relative to that 50-period moving average, currently valued at 95,700. In any way, shape, or form, if you're saying the price is above there, that is a very good situation, because that would imply that the price not only leveled out, not only come up, but come up enough to get above that level. So that would, make things bullish in a hurry. If you're, like I said, if you're watching this 20 hours from now and answering the question that the price is back above that purple line. Now, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, no, the price is still down below there. Next immediate question is, okay, well, where's the price at relative to that area right there at 88,700? If you're saying the price is down below there, well, then that's a situation where, okay, things are looking a little bit rough. Now, one part, though, where I would definitely call it a massive red flag, and I doubt you're answering it in this way, but if somehow you're saying, well, actually, Clay, I'm watching this 20 hours from now and the price is down below that 200-period moving average, that would just be telling you that the wheels have really started to come off in a pretty epic way. But like I said, I doubt you're answering the question that the price is down below there. And then if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is down below the purple line, but it is still up above here, well, then at that point, you basically just have some bearish consolidation right now as the price just chops around. And I just call it bearish because, technically speaking, it is in a little miniature downtrend right here. But it would also be good in the sense of at least it's going sideways and not making any sort of other major moves to the downside. So keep your eye on those levels, walk yourself through those questions, and that'll keep this video relevant until I'm back to update it again. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely get signed up for the free class, because what you're learning about can and certainly should be used within the world of Bitcoin and crypto. So as mentioned, it'll be in about a week and a half, Thursday, December 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. And as already mentioned, if you enjoy these top 10 videos, if you would like that I'm doing Bitcoin, then please support the channel. And a super easy way to do that is just to hit that subscribe button. That really helps out with the algorithm and does a whole lot of other good things for us, which we really do appreciate. So hit that subscribe button and go get signed up for that free class.